Excelsior! So I'm going to read Tales from the Crypt number 25, part 2. So,
ever love someone who didn't love you? Pretty painful, isn't it? Well, it's not half as painful as being loved to death. And this is by Jack Kamen. For the first scene of the touching tale, let's look in on the apartment of Margaret Singer, where a delightful little episode is reaching a climax. Ow! I'm sorry, Edward. I had to do it. Now, will you please go, and don't ever annoy me again?
But, Margie, I'm mad about you. Will you let me take you out? Just once? Tomorrow night?
No, I'm busy. I'm busy every night as far as you're concerned. Now, will you leave? I have to dress for a heavy date.
All right, Margie. I'll go, but I won't give up.
Margaret Singer slams the door on poor Edward Wallace. Poor sap. Won't he ever catch on that he doesn't rate with me? How many times do I have to slap his face? While outside, Eddie, dejected, moves slowly down the darkening streets.
Why? Why won't she give me a break? She knows I'm crazy about her, but she treats me like dirt. She acts like she can't stand me.
Eddie crosses the street and enters the deserted park. He slumps down on a bench. Soon, a stranger comes along. He stops, eyes Eddie, then sits down beside him.
"'S the matter, young feller? You look pretty glum."
I am. I'm nuts about a girl, but she won't give me a tumble.
The stranger smiles, reaches into his pocket, and pulls out a card.
"Oh, is that it? Well, go see this guy. He'll fix you up, guaranteed."
Huh? What can he do?
The stranger rises and disappears into the night. Eddie studies the small right card. It reads, Ulrich Stronham, alchemist. An address follows.
An alchemist? Say, I thought those guys went out with the Middle Ages. Oh well, I can't lose anything. I'll go see him.
The address on the card leads Edward Wallace to a dark, winding street in the oldest part of town. The building he is looking for is a run-down, dirty tenement. He climbs rat-infested steps to Ulrich Stronham's door.
"Yes, what can I do for you?"
I was given your card. The man said you could help me.
The wrinkled, wizened old man steps aside, and Edward enters a weird room. Bottles and jars line the walls, each filled with brilliantly colored liquids and powders.
"What seems to be the trouble, young man?"
I'm in love with a girl, but she doesn't love me.
"Oh, I see. And you would like her to adore you, to worship you, to love you, and only you?"
Yeah, that's what I'd like.
"Very simple. Here, take this. It's a love potion. My secret formula. Just a few drops and she's yours. All yours."
It must be very expensive, if it really works.
"Oh, it works. I guarantee that. And it's very cheap. Only $1.
$1? Is that all? I'll take it. Goodbye.
Not goodbye, young man. Au revoir for now. You'll be back. They all come back.
Come back? For what?
For the antidote.
Oh, no, not me. If this really makes Margaret fall madly in love with me, you won't see me again.
We'll see. We'll see.
Edward rushes from the weird room, down to the garbage-laden stairs, and back across town to Margaret's apartment.
Oh, Edward, are you back again? I told you.
I came to say goodbye, Margaret. I'm going away.
Good. Thank heavens. Now you'll stop bothering me.
I bought this wine, Margie. Will you just have one drink with me? To wish me farewell?
Anything. Anything to get rid of you.
Good. I'll pour it out.
Eddie pours the wine and secretly empties the contents of the love potion into Margie's glass.
Well, here's to you, Margie. I'll always love you.
And here's to you. Good riddance.
Margie drains her glass. Edward stares at her, expectantly.
Well, you can go now. Don't just stand there like a dummy. We've said goodbye.
Yes, I guess I will go. Golly, it didn't work.
Eddie reluctantly opens the door. Margie watches him frigidly. Then the cold look in her eyes softens. She smiles.
Oh, you big overgrown kid. Come here. I'll kiss you goodbye.
Huh?
Margie pecks at Eddie's puckered lips. Suddenly she gasps. She throws her arms around his neck and kisses him. A long, rapturous kiss. A kiss of love.
Eddie, what's happening to me?
Oh, Margie. Margie.
Yep, it was just like old Ulrich the alchemist said. Margie fell, head over heels. Eddie and she were married. She adored him, worshipped him, loved him, loved him, loved him till Eddie thought he would go mad.
Darling, darling Eddie. Sweet, handsome, divine Eddie. Oh, how I love you, Eddie. Oh, how...
Margie, cut it out. I'm trying to read. Go sit over there.
Margie, spurned by Eddie, moves to the chair, across the room. There she sits, smiling and staring at Eddie.
Don't you have anything to do, Margie? Must you sit and stare at me?
I love you. I have nothing in life to do except love you. You're my everything. My...
It is late that same night that Eddie knocks on Ulrich's door.
You finally come back. I must say it took you longer than usual. You must be a very patient man. You want the antidote, no doubt.
Yes, I can't stand her any longer. She crawls all over me. She's driving me crazy.
Here you are. A few drops of this and it will all be over. It's swift and sure. Doesn't leave any trace.
It kills her?
You have a better method?
No, only, well, I hadn't intended to kill her. You say it leaves no trace? How much?
$1,000.
What? But the potion?
Yes, the potion is cheap. The antidote is expensive. I lose money on the potion, but I more than make it up on the antidote. And anyone who buys the potion always buys the antidote, sooner or later. Well, yes or no?
Yes, I guess.
At breakfast the next morning, Edward spills the antidote into Margie's coffee while her back is turned.
Oh dear, your toast isn't ready yet. I'm sorry, dearest.
That's all right, Margaret. I left my watch in the bathroom anyway.
But thoughtful, ever-loving Margie, knowing that her darling husband likes his coffee hot, switches cups because hers steams more.
Come, darling. Your coffee is getting cold.
You can start. I'll be right here.
But Margie, the devoted wife, waits patiently for Edward to return to the table, and Edward does so want to avoid witnessing her, shall we say, finish.
The coffee's good this morning, isn't it?
Is it, dear? Oh, I'm so happy. Edward?
Edward slumps to the floor and is very still. He is quite dead, swift and sure, just like Ulrich said. There is a slight smile on his face.
Edward, darling, speak to me. Speak to me.
There is a smile on his face because, somewhere in that unknown world, that is the hereafter, as Edward trudges through the mist.
Oh well, so I drank the antidote instead. So I'm dead. At least I'm rid of her.
Yes, Edward smiles as he moves through the mist, but the smile is short-lived, for...
Edward, darling, wait for me.
That's Marty's voice.
Yes, it is Margie's voice. She bursts through the mist, rushes up to Edward, and smothers him with kisses.
Oh, darling, when you died, I knew I wouldn't be able to go on without you. So I committed suicide. Now we'll be together for eternity.
Oh, no! No!
Yes, yes, she's right, Edward. But don't worry. Maybe someday you might bump into Ulrich Strawnman again. Personally, I wouldn't bet on it. I don't think he and you are headed for the same place. Oh, by the way, many of you have asked about subscribing to Tales from the Crypt. For this information, read my column, The Crypt Keeper's Corner.
The Witch's Cauldron. Ah, you're back. So you like the little tidbits of terror I dish out of my cauldron, eh? Well, come in, come in. Don't just stand there gaping. It's me, the old witch, mistress of the haunt of fear. Come closer to the fire, where it's warm. Then when you shiver from the story I'm about to tell you, I'll know it isn't from the cold. Comfy? Good. Then I'll begin. This is a tale dripping with dread. I call it The Works in Wax. My story begins in the 19th century, in England. On a dark and winding street in old London stands a famous structure, the Hogs Lane Wax Museum. Inside, the owner barks orders at his nervous, scurrying wife.
Hurry, Marie. It is time to open up. Are the tableaus dusted?
Yes, Henry. I am finished. You may unlock the doors.
The fame of the Hogs Lane Waxworks is widespread. Outside the battered doors, a crowd is already gathered. Tourists from all over the world travel to see this famous museum and its notorious Chamber of Horrors.
The doors are opening.
Stop pushing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Marie and Henry Martin's Waxworks.
The anxious throng pushes its way into the Matard establishment, filling Henry's outstretched hands with coins and paper money. Inside, wax figures stand expectantly, awaiting the prying eyes.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, plenty of room inside. Have your admission price ready. Take your time.
Yes, Marie and Henry Matard's Waxworks is world-renowned. You know why? Because the wax figures look so real. They almost look alive. And in the chambers of horrors, well, you can imagine.
Turns my stomach. It's the famed hatchet murderer, Cyrus Everard, with one of his victims.
That's Jack the Ripper. I swear he moved.
Amazing. How alive they look.
Oh, the blood.
Look at her face. She actually looks like she's being strangled. That's John Garrott. He strangled 33 women before they caught him.
Yes, the Matard Waxworks is quite a place. Quite a place.
Pardon me, guard. Can you tell me, guard? I'd like some information. Guard, I say, that's very rude. I'll report.
Agnes, that's a wax figure. People are laughing at you.
Soon, however, the day passes, and closing time arrives. The milling throng is ushered out, and once more the doors are closed. Henry Matard breathes a sigh of relief.
Oh, well, Marie, another day, eh? It is a relief to have silence again, is it not?
Yes, Henry. I will drape the tableaus while you count the day's receipts.
Henry disappears into the office, and Marie turns to the many wax figures that line the walls.
Well, today was not so bad, was it, my friends? At least there were no mischievous children, eh?
After a while, Henry comes out of the office and calls to Marie.
The best Tuesday we have had this year, Marie. Marie? Marie!
Henry calls Marie's name several times before she rushes up to him.
Marie, didn't you hear me call you?
I'm sorry, Henry. I was busy.
Henry stamps down the line of exhibits.
Busy? Busy doing what? You have not draped the figures. You...
Suddenly, his eyes fall upon the exhibit of John Garrott, the Strangler.
Mon Dieu! What have you done? His head! You turned his head!
Yes, Henry. I felt sorry for him.
Sorry? Sorry? What are you talking about?
He begged me to do it. He said he couldn't stand looking at their eyes.
Marie, you are out of your mind!
No, Henry, no. Monsieur Garrott pleaded with me.
Henry twists the waxen head so it once more stares down at the strangled girl.
Marie, leave the figures alone.
No, Henry, don't! Then Henry leads Marie away.
You have been working too hard, Marie. You need a rest.
I'm not tired, Henry. I am all right. The next day, crowds once more flock to the Hogs Lane Wax Museum.
Say, that's Silas Everard, the hatchet murderer. He doesn't look so bad.
Secretu!
After the last visitor leaves.
Marie, come here.
Yes, Henry?
Marie, did you lower Monsieur Everard's arm to the side?
Oui, Henry. He was tired. The hatchet is so heavy. I felt sorry for him.
Marie, what is happening to you? You are going mad.
No, Henry. It is true. Monsieur Everard asked me, no, begged me to lower his arm. I could not refuse. Henri Matard explodes in a fit of anger.
I told you, Marie, leave these statues alone. If I catch you changing any again, so help me, I'll kill you.
Henry, you do not believe me. Henry raises the wax figure's arm to its original position.
And I mean it. I'll kill you.
And as Henry storms from the Chamber of Horrors, I'm sorry, Monsieur Everard. I am so sorry. That night, in their quarters above the waxworks,
I have made up my mind, Marie. You are going to Paris for a vacation.
Yes, Henry. Later that night, Henry is awakened by the sound of laughter. Marie's laughter.
Marie, she's not in bed.
Henry puts on a robe and descends to the waxworks below.
Marie, are you down there?
Henry's voice echoes through the silent wax museum. He lights the lamp.
Marie, you crazy fool! What have you done?
Marie sits wide-eyed in the center of the Chamber of Horrors. Now, my friends are all happy, Henry, all happy. Henry's gaze moves from tableau to tableau.
Ruined! You've ruined the exhibits!
Indeed, Marie has altered the Chamber of Horrors. It is, in fact, no longer horrible. They were so unhappy, Henry. We were torturing them. They couldn't stand it any longer. I had to do it.
You turned Monsieur Garot's head again? Lord Monsieur Everard's hatchet?
Henry's face is flushed. He clenches his fists, moving toward Marie.
I told you what I do, Marie. I told you what I do. If you touch them again...
Henry's hands closed about Marie's white throat. Tighter, tighter, tighter. No, Henry, please. Marie's body grows limp as she slips from Henry's grasp. Dead! Henry turns at a sound behind him.
No!
The the wax figure of Cyrus Everard, the hatchet murderer, stirs, then turns toward Henry, its eyes blazing.
No, I'm dreaming! You're wax! You can't be alive!
Jack the Ripper steps from his tableau, his knife gleaming in the gaslight.
Keep away! Keep away!
The others, John Garrott the Strangler, Lucy Boardman with her axe, George Crabtree the notorious poisoner, Frederick von Heimer the bludgeoner with his club. All of them move toward the hysterical, cowering Henry Matard.
No! No! No!
Outside, in the dark, deserted London street, a blood-curdling scream fills the air, echoing over the chimney pots. The next morning, when the Hogs Lane Waxworks does not open its doors, the police investigate. The doors are forced. Inside they find a strange sight. A huge tableau of wax figures stands reverently about the body of Marie Martard as she lies on a wax flower bedeckened altar. At the foot of the altar, a huge candle burns, and if you look real hard, you can see, beneath the translucent wax of the tremendous candle, the remains of Henry Matard.
Good Lord! Look! Henry Matard! He's the wick of the candle!
The end. And that's my story, kiddies. Didn't it just melt your cold hearts? Yes, Henry was all burned up over what Marie did to the Chamber of Horrors. But she soon cooled off. What was left of him, that is. The figures that he and Marie created certainly were lifelike, weren't they? Too lifelike, if you ask me. Marie wasn't crazy after all, eh? It was Henry who was the drip. See you in the next Vault of Horror.
The Crypt Keeper's Corner. President and CEO, Stephen A. Geppy. Publisher, Russ Cochran. Dear Crypt Keeper, I like you the most out of the Vault Keeper and the Old Witch. Your comics are great. I watch your show on HBO whenever I can, and I watch your Saturday morning cartoons. I have the first book in the series of Crypt books, and I also have a book called Jokes from the Crypt. I also have some of your cards. After I read one of your comic books, my sister and my mom read them. My whole family likes scary things. One of your best stories was Swamped in Haunt number 5. Another of my favorites is Reflection of Death in Crypt number 7. Stephen Langlois, Rutland, Vermont. Dear Crypt Keeper, I love your comic books. They are great. I am 11 years old. My brother Abe likes your comics too, and he is 13. I love Haunt number 7. It's very good. I was wondering on how to get Tales from the Crypt trading cards. I look everywhere and I can't find them. They look cool. I would love to have a pen pal, so please print my address. Josh Elder, RT2BX37, Carter, South Dakota, 57526. Dear Crypt Keeper, it's me again. You know, David Rodriguez. I still want to know who was thrown off the sled in your story, Wolfbait. Available in Glad Haunt number 4 as a back issue. And I won't stop writing until you answer it. Heh! I can wait forever. The real question is, can you? Eternally yours, David Rodriguez, Huntington Park, California. All of the comics mentioned above are available as back issues. See the back cover of this comic for info on Crypt cards. Spend money. The perfect person to throw off the back of a sled when pursued by wolves is Larry Talbot. But that only works once a month. And that's a sleigh, not a sled. Rhymes with sleigh, if that helps. CK. Your comic books are the best. I never thought before that I'd enjoy comic books, but as soon as I read one of yours, I loved it. One thing I would like to know is, who were your parents, and what year were you born in? John Gilo, Saugus, Massachusetts. Yo, Russ. Hi, how's it swinging? Okay here. I just recently began collecting EC comics. My first was Crypt number 7. My favorite was Seance. It was cool. Could you tell me the Crypt Keeper's origin? I've always wondered how he came to be. Tales from the Crypt rules. Cryptically yours. William D. Watchell, Fort Wayne, Indiana. We can tell you my origin in Glad Crypt number 1. Or you can wait for Crypt number 33, Crypt Rules. Whoa! Imagine considerable arm waving here. Crypt Keeper. Dear Crypt Keeper, I think the old witch is a geezer. I like your comic books a lot. This is the first time ever I read your comics. I am very impressed with the stories. The Vault Keeper is worse than the old witch. The Vault Keeper stinks at telling stories. I also write my own comics. Have you ever spooked someone? My favorite story is Reflection of Death in issue number 7. Keep up the good work. Robert Rafalik, 3rd grade. Schenectady, New York. The Vault Keeper stinks while telling stories. CK. 77 years of experience. Dear Russ, I am 9 years old. Sometimes I feel sad. I pull out some tales from the crypt. I read stories and I feel great. I just started recently. Your friend, Sherry Sukaram, New York, New York. Dear CK, I am a big fan and a very old fan of you. I started getting interested in you when I was 3. Now I am 9, almost 10. I got Crypt number 7 and 7 others. I read them all. Jacob Hellefrich, New York, New York. Yo, Russ. I watched the Tales from the Crypt TV show, and I just have to say, what's with the Crypt Keeper? If you ask me, I think it needs more blood. Yours truly, Donna Ross, age 10, Plainfield, New Jersey. Dear Russ, I love your comic books on Tales from the Crypt. When I grow up, I want to become a doctor. I also want to become a comic book collector. John Wright Wrigley is the only comic book collector I know. He collected 180 books by 1959, and by 1966 had a total of 206 comic books. I watched Tales from the Crypt on Fox. I like the one with David Warner, about that Felicity girl. That's one of my favorites. Jonathan Carter, 11 years old. Decatur, Illinois. Dear Crypt Keeper, I am 11 years old. I watch your HBO TV show a lot, but I don't think I'd like the cartoon. I collect your comics, but unfortunately I can't find them right now. You, the Vault Keeper, and the Old Witch's comics are the scariest I've ever read. Are the stories in your comics the ones in the TV show? Paul O'Leary, Needham, Massachusetts. Dear Crypt Keeper, hi. All I can say is, great comic. Keep it coming. I'm 12, going on 13, and a great fan. I don't have HBO, but your show comes on Saturday now on regular TV. Your comics are only at one place, Chesterfield Mall. Print my address. I love pen pals. I also love Stephen King movies and books. Great comic. Your number one fan, Sarah Lounsdale. 568 Sunbridge Drive, Chesterfield, Missouri. 63017. Hey, CK. I've been an avid horror fan since I was 11. Up until now, at 15, nothing grosses me out like Crypt. It has the best storyline and art. My favorite frame is from The Reflection of Death, when the character sees his mangled reflection in the mirror. I was wondering if you sold any Crypt posters. My parents won't let me hang real decomposed bodies on my wall. So, another thing I've been wondering is if you had any tips on how to draw corpses and other gruesome pictures. I've tried, but they look too, well, alive. If there's anyone out there who is as much as a horror fanatic as me, write to me. Mike Tormey, 39 Bolivia Street, Willimantic, Connecticut, 06226.
So it says here that the Crypt Keeper's voice is different from the one I give him. He has a more baritone voice. Let me know in the comments if you want to change the Crypt Keeper's voice or keep it the same. I'm gonna keep it the same for now. I like doing the Crypt Keeper voice the way I do it right now. But if you want me to change it, just let me know in the comments.
So what? No 14-year-olds? You know, the thing that bugs me the most about the HBO and KidVid Crypt Keeper is the squeaky voice. Not at all like my real suck-furl baritone. They do adapt authentic EC Comics stories and retain the original titles. You've perhaps noticed that all of them are presented as mine, even when they were actually told by VK or OW. We have no EC posters, but it would take only 2,000 trading cards to cover an 8x10 wall. CK. Dear Crypt Keeper, hi. I just moved to Indiana. What I want to know is, do you have a fan club? If you do, I'd be willing to join. I think that your comics, shows, and cards are the greatest. I never miss any of your shows because they're so cool. Cameron Lee, Carmel, Indiana. Check last month's Haunt number 8 and INCSF number 8 for the latest fan club news, and watch for that feature in Vault as well. CK. Dear CK, there is Tales from the Crypt comic, Crypt video, Crypt television series, Crypt cartoon, Crypt pinball, and Crypt trading cards. What's next? Are there going to be Tales from the Crypt jackets, t-shirts, baseball caps, and figurines? Or even a computer game? I hope so. Is there a video I can buy of the HBO television series? Oliver Wingrave, Farnham, Surrey, Great Britain. Brits and Celts tell me the videos are the only way to consume the HBO shows there. I don't know details, though, sorry. CK. Dear Crazy Bag of Bones, I read Crypt number 7 and I think blank is a stuck-up gula tick. I think you should decide who the number 1 fan is. And I think Last Respects was real ghoulerific. Seance was very thrilling, and so was Voodoo Death. I would give you 2 thumbs up, but I got my hand chopped off. Never make your sister mad. Blank, who wrote a letter in Crypt number 7, is not stuck up because he doesn't claim to be the best. I think blank is real cool. I think the witch and you make a ghoulish couple. And I think you have your way of getting your face in the crowd. You have a comic, card set, show on Fox and HBO, and a cartoon on Saturday mornings. I hope you publish this letter because someone has to tell blank he's stuck up. Well, I have some things to settle with my sister. Please print my address because me and Lloyd have something to settle. I think blank rules. Jason Parker, 100 Teachers, Connecticut, Guyton, Georgia, 31312. Now, mustn't fight. I deleted the names positive and negative to save you some fisticuffs. Sans fisties. You all know by now that anyone can be number 1. 'Cause you're all number 1 with me. As long as you buy the comics. It's like Joey says. Next letter. CK. I just finished Crypt number 7 and I was disgusted. Not at your pulse-pounding tales of horror, but at the letters pages. These number 1 fans. Yet, I have the solution to their conundrum of just who deserves to be EC's number 1 fan. Without further ado, here it is. Who cares? What's really important, mind you, is who deserves to be the number 0 fan. After all, with number 0 comic books all the rage, what about that worthy fan who is number 0? And the newest trend, Chromium fan number 1. Now let's get serious, CK. Is being the plain old, non-enhanced number 1 fan important at all? I didn't think so. On to the stories. Reflection of Death, despite some wonderful art by Al Felstein, was an all-too-typical story of the time. EC turned out masterpieces which everybody remembers. Yet, I'll admit that Bill Gaines and his merry ghoul lunatics told their share of cliched stories, such as this one. Yet, with the good come the bad, and the EC output of brilliant short stories could not be matched. The Old Witch's tale for the issue, Last Respects, was better than the initial tale, and was a real spine-tingler. Without any supernatural overtones, this story showed just how far a typical red-blooded 1950s boy would go for his girl. Graham Ingalls did a great job on the visuals, and this story presented one of the few times that I've enjoyed Graham's unique work. Usually, I prefer the cleaner and more slick styles of Craig and Feldstein. Overall, Last Respects was an enjoyable, if slightly horrific, piece. And most fascinating of all, the subject matter is not something which is totally unbelievable. Did you ever catch Alive, CK? Or even those wacky headhunters always trying to Sati Gilligan? Ah, the classics of film and television. Seance was definitely the best story in the issue. It was great to see Jack Davis's art in this story, especially to note the evolution of his art, from yesterday's comics to today's commercial art, caricature and package art. The exaggerated faces that have become a Davis trademark were present in this story, which gave Seance an almost humorous visual impact. The story itself was suspenseful, and quite a testament to the power of fortune-tellers, gypsies, mediums, and psychics. And a note to you, CK. A happy medium. Ha ha! Finally, we have Voodoo Death in Haiti. This was quite an interesting piece, albeit one which went by all too quickly. Maybe all of EC's voodoo stories could be presented, at least the best of them, in a miniseries format. I'd love to see such theme miniseries show up, such as a vampire compilation or a book of lovers' tales. Joey Marchese, Union, New Jersey. I wouldn't be caught undead watching Alive, CK. Dear CK VKOW, I really like your comic books and that new cartoon on television. Both are very interesting and enjoyable to read and watch. On Saturday mornings, I get up and watch Tales from the Crypt. Most of the time, I read the comic books. To me, nothing is more exciting than reading horror stories. Travis Monty, Alpena, Michigan. Dear Crypt Keeper, my name is Jason Jan Moville, and I am 11 years old. I love EC Comics and all the fabulous stories. I would like to start out by saying I watch your TV show, and that's how I found out about the comics. I went to my local comic book store. All they had was the original comics from the 50s. One comic was $250. I was quite upset about this since I do not have $250 with me. I did find issues of Vault and Haunt, so I got some. On the third visit, I got some Crypt comics. I've just subscribed to Crypt, and I've just gotten my first issue in the mail. I like the story Bats in My Belfry in issue number 8. I would like to say that I'm your #1 fan, but that's what everyone says. I also saw the Tales from the Crypt movie. I liked it. Jason Jan Moville, Santa Rosa, California. I'm extremely upset. I never had $250 with me. CK. Dear Crypt Keeper, I love your comic book and TV show. I'd like to know what is your favorite food and movie. In your comic book, is there a story with a magician in it? I'd also like to know what year you were born and where your crypt is located. Spookingly yours, Michael Neary, Linwood, Pennsylvania. I'd like nothing better than to curl up with a box of chicken teriyaki takeout and a tape of Sound of Music. CK. Dear Crypt Keeper, I am a fan of EC Comics and you are my favorite hero. Someday I would like to be a part of EC Comics. I watch Tales from the Crypt every Saturday morning and night. I wish you would come on more often. And I just wanted to say thank you for making comics and TV shows. Please print my address. Truly yours, Marla Catton, P.O.B. 142, Chandler, Oklahoma, 74834. Dear Crypt Keeper, you are the coolest guy. Your comics are great. Please give me your phone number. We could make scares together. I really want to do business with you. Your slimy friend, Michael Palmer, Irwin, Texas. Sorry to disappoint you, but you can't fax slime. CK. Dear Crypt Keeper, I just read one of your comics and it was outstanding. I liked both your tales. The Witch's Tale was okay and the Vault Keeper's Tale was geeky. What is scary about a voodoo doll that kills a couple of guys? John Duffy, Paradise Valley, Arizona. Really, CK. Dear Russ, congratulations on being on your 8th round of EC Comics, which is more than what was published under either of the two 64-page runs. Crypt has its usual good run of stories, but these stories get even better in later issues. The Living Death, Crypt number 7, looks like it was taken from an Edgar Allan Poe story. I think that it was called The Strange Case of J. Vladimir, but then the Crypt Keeper already knows that. The two stories Bats in My Belfry and Midnight Snack, Crypt number 8, look a little too similar in theme. Except in one story the character turns out to be a vampire, And in the other story, the character turns out to be a ghoul. There is one thing I never quite understood, though. What is the difference between a ghoul and a cannibal? This issue of Crypt has a great Feldstein cover, and the story that it illustrates is not bad either. Warren Standiford, Sunnyvale, California. The difference between a cannibal and a ghoul is nothing that 5 minutes in a microwave won't erase. C.K. Dear Russ Cochran, I really like Crypt Keeper. In fact, he's the man of my screams. Ha ha ha. I'm trying to save my money so I can subscribe to Crypt. If it's no trouble, could you please send me a picture of the Crypt Keeper? Ashley Kissel, Greenwood, Indiana. Save time. Break into that college fund. C.K. Dear Crypt Keeper, my name is Julio Martinez and I am 15 years old. I am your biggest fan, and also your friend. The episode I liked in your cartoon show is While the Cat's Away. I've seen it 13 times. Can I be in your show, Tales from the Crypt? Could I be in your comic books? Julio Martinez, National City, California. Maybe. Have you been cheated, betrayed, strangled, fried, hanged, sliced, diced, zombified, reanimated, electrocuted, or had an intimate experience with a bladed household gadget? If so, you too could be the centerpiece of an EC story. C.K. Dear C.K., you're the most stupid storyteller I have ever heard of. Your stories don't even scare my 5-year-old sister Becky. When I read her, and all through the house, she told me it was a very boring bedtime story, and left. And, oh wait, I'm sorry. That was my letter to VK. Very sorry. I just had a few questions for you. Could you please give me a list of all the stories EC adapted from Ray Bradbury, and what issue they were in? And did Graham Ingalls do any werewolf stories? Sean Clow, El Monte, California. Yes to both, but space is running out. Check each Ghoul Lunatic letter column in future for this info. C.K. Also available this month are Weird Science and Shock. Watch for Vault, Weird Fantasy, and Two-Fisted next month. Don't forget Haunt, Weird Science, Fantasy, and Crime. Get them at your local comic book shop or subscribe. See our ad in this comic for details. Back issues. Crypt number 1, $3 each, subject to availability. All others up through issue number 3, $1.50 each. Issues 4 and up, $2 each. At $5 per order, $10 outside U.S. for S&H. Write to Crypt, Russ Cochran, P.O.B. 459, West Plains, Missouri, 65775. This comic reprints Tales from the Crypt number 25, which is originally number 9, August-September of 1951. The cover was by Al Feldstein. The trophy, Jack Davis. Judy, You're Not Yourself Today by Wally Wood. Love to Death by Jack Kamen. The Works in Wax, Graham Ingalls. We welcome letters of comment. We cannot promise to acknowledge, publish, or answer letters. We edit for clarity, accuracy, and length. We automatically withhold street address and zip code unless you clearly state you wish them published. We attempt to acknowledge publication of letters. To do so, we need your address and the individual letter. Tales from the Crypt. Trading cards. 8 cards per pack. Randomly packed premium cards. Collect all 110 Crypt cards. Or else. The man of your screams. The lovable ghoul with an attitude now has his very own trading card series, and he'll scare you silly. The wise guy Crypt Keeper from HBO's Tales from the Crypt is deliciously demented in all kinds of horrible, funny situations. The 110 card set features the Crypt Keeper and a few unsuspecting victims. Photos of the original comic book series, the gory details on what goes on behind the screams of the TV show, plus randomly packed Crypt Keeper holograms and a Tech Chrome premium card. Tales from the Crypt trading cards are too funny for TV. Collect the entire set. Your friends will just die of envy. Cards of trademarked, available wherever trading cards are sold. And copyright Tales from the Crypt is a trademark of Tales from the Crypt Holdings, Cards Distribution Inc., 1993. Russ is dealing from a full deck, so ante up and write or call for details on these putrid pasteboards today. Russ Cochran, P.O.B. 469, West Plains, Missouri, 65775. 417-256-2224 or call 1-800-EC-CRYPT and ask for the order desk. Printed in USA.
So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. If you have any requests you want me to do, just let me know and I'll put it on my list. If I like the comment, I automatically just put it, like, I never forget about any requests. I always put it down on my Google document. I always put down every request. So every request will be done. It's just they're all in my Google document. It'll just take a while for me to do. But yeah, I'll never forget any requests any of you guys ever tell me. I'll just put them in my Google document. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.